I've been in dogs since 1991. We breed dogs that we want to train. I was out here in western Nebraska riding Harleys and training dogs. I don't sugarcoat anything, and if you don't like it, tough.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Flatlander Kennels Podcast with Chris Jobman. My name is Elliott, and we are here for another episode with you. Chris, how's it going out there at the kennel today?
Hey, buddy, how are you, man? Everything's well out here. We just got done with 2 weeks of master tests and weekends, and July has been an absolute grind, but we've done well. We've qualified a bunch of dogs for the Master National. We've titled a bunch of dogs. Everything's going well. I know our staff is worn out, but it's in the heat of the summer right now. We're going crazy.
So you did back-to-back 2 weeks in a row, right?
Yes, we did a double 132 here at the kennel, 132 dog double here at the kennel. We went to North
132 dog. Good Lord. How many days did that take?
It took the week. It took the entire week. So it was 132 dogs per flight. So it took the entire week. It actually took 4 days. And then we went to North Platte, ran their test, got home Sunday night, trained Monday, got ready for Tuesday. We had another double master here. And I'm supposed to go to Central Nebraska this weekend. So
good grief. And then does the schedule ease up after that at all?
Yeah. Once August 1st rolls around, the schedule eases up. We're gonna have a master test or two here in September. We're going to do something really pretty cool in September out here. We're going to do a double master. It's going to be a 100-dog double master, and it's going to be a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is the first test, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday is the next test. And what I've told the judges is this: I want this to be like a Master National tune-up. And so we're going to do something a little bit different that I don't know if anybody that's ever done it or another club has done it. They might have. But we're doing pheasants and pheasant flyers on the land. And then we're doing ducks and duck flyers on the land, water, and the water. So I'm giving each test 2 flyers. And I told them to do it like a Master National. Judge like a Master National, run Master National level tests, and let's go. It'll be a good Master National tune-up for everybody involved. The entry fee is going to be a little bit higher, of course, because of all the extra flyers. But I think it's going to be good. We're going to do a sound truck and, the whole deal. Announce dogs come to line, the whole deal. It'll be fun.
So you're really trying to simulate the national?
Yes. Yeah. I'm trying to simulate the national, like the level of tests, the judging, the flyers, the pheasants, cool. We're just trying to simulate that. And then that will give us about a month before the Master National starts. And that'll give us a good tune-up on where we're at in the world when it comes to all that.
How many dogs are in that one?
There'll be 100 dog. It'll be a double, but 100 dog per test. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is 100 dogs. Friday, Saturday, Sunday is 100 dog.
Well, I was certainly looking forward to hanging out with you and old T-Zon this weekend at the hunt test, but it sounds like maybe you won't be out there.
I hope I get to go. I may not. I hurt my knee or hamstring or something on Saturday. We're out riding motorcycles all day, and we're hanging out with a bunch of buddies, and we got to roughhousing, and of course my dumbass. We get to wrestle around, and next thing you know, pop, down I go, and I've been on ice. My poor wife, I need a bell. She won't give me a bell. Like I'm like, ding-ling-ling-ling.
Oh man, she would kill you if you had a bell.
I just text her like Diet Mountain Dew or ice cream, or I text her in. It's not great.
Oh, I bet she has had it with you. She's pretty patient, but I bet she's coming to her end.
I want a bell. She won't give me one. I don't know why.
Yeah. One year I had the flu, really bad flu for like 9 days straight. And my wife was wonderful until about day 5. And then after that, she had just like, I have had enough of waiting on you all the time. Well, hopefully you'll be okay. Hopefully it's nothing too serious.
I hope so, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Have you ever had any injuries to that knee before?
Well, it's funny you say that because I went all the way through high school, played football. I went all the way through college, played football. I played competitive basketball till I was 30. Golf my whole life. I've never majorly hurt a joint. I know I've tore hamstrings, I've sprained ankles, I've rotators. I've done all that kind of type stuff, but I've never blown a knee out or had anything like this. But we'll see what happens. This knee years ago, a big dog used to train named Jake. He tore my meniscus in this knee, and I never did get it fixed. But that's been 15, 20 years ago or longer. So we'll see what happens with it's the same knee. But I heard something pop, felt something pop. We'll see. It's not good.
No, that sounds really painful. Well, hopefully
it's not
be
good.
too bad.
Well, we got vacation coming up, and we got this test, and if it's a surgery, you need to get done ASAP. So I'm up and cranking again here, hopefully a month or two, and we'll get everything handled here. It ain't a problem.
Well, and you got to be healed by teal season. I mean,
teal season is a big deal to me. I mean, I'll just watch your videos and call it good.
There you go.
Yeah,
you'll see lots of them being killed on the videos. That's for sure.
I'll bet. But no, we're all good. We're all good. It's just one more thing you got to deal with,
So there's lots of conversation going on about AKC and the Master National and changes they're making, and I have not dug into it at all. I'm not sure what's going on. I know you kind of wanted to talk about that. We've had people on the Facebook group talking about that. And before we get into that topic, I do want to say that we now have a Flatlander Kennels Facebook page, which we've had a lot of people that want to share the podcast and share posts. So moving forward, we are going to be sharing the podcast links on the Flatlander Kennel Facebook page, which is different from the group. We still have the group, but now we have a page also. So we'll be posting them there, and we'll be posting them on the podcast group. So those people that want to share the podcast can do so, because you cannot share links on a group because groups are private.
Yeah.
And so
there's a lot of people. Yeah. Thank you for doing that. I know there's a lot of people that have been wanting to do that, and I have no idea how to do it. I don't even want to know, but.
So make sure you guys are following the Flatlander Kennel Podcast Facebook page and then signing up on the group. So we'll have content in both places. And we also want to announce we have a new partner, Big Cottonwood Kennels. That's the official name, right? I'm saying that correct? And
Big Cottonwood Retrievers.
Right. And
Big Cottonwood Retrievers. So, my buddy Grant Hatch, Big Cottonwood Retrievers, he jumped on, and he is a exclusive, I guess I'd call it breeder sponsor or partner. And he does a good job over there. He uses a lot of our stud dogs over there, and he's a good dude. Produces some nice puppies. And he's got a good breeding program going over there. And like I said, he uses a lot of our stud dogs. So if you guys are looking for puppies, anything like that, and this is we're getting some sponsorships, we're getting some partners now, and we're gonna start making some commercials and stuff for everybody. But congratulations and thank you to Grant Hatch and Sheri Hatch for joining in and being part of the FLK family with your sponsorship. We really appreciate it. So if anybody's looking for puppies or a nice breeding program or anything like that, give Grant and Sheri a call at Big Cottonwood Retrievers, and they will help you out there. And I'm sure Elliott will put his Facebook and link and website link on our notes.
Down in the description, you can find contact information, website information, and all of that. And I know when I have friends I have people contact me all the time. It's like, man, I've seen Georgie. She's crazy. Where can I get a dog like that? And that's what I always give them Grant's contact.
Yeah. Give Grant and Sheri Hatch and Big Cottonwood Retrievers a call, and they can help you out with puppies for sure.
All right, so let's go in. Talk to us about what's going on with the Master National and what your feelings and opinions are.
I'm gonna try to be relatively politically correct. It's probably not gonna last very long.
Yeah, but, like you may try, but you're not going to achieve.
The powers to be of the Master National have, for some reason, drawn a line in the sand. It's basically an am versus pro deal, and what they're doing, and it's been coming down for years. And all of a sudden now it's a big deal, but it's going out to Oregon in 2026. And in the year of 2026, they're only going to allow 840, give or take ish, dogs total in the Master National. total.
And what is it normally?
Unlimited.
Okay. But what would a normal one have? 1,500, 2,000?
11 to 1,200, probably 1,000 to 1,200, 800,
Right.
900 to 1,200, somewhere in there. And their big complaint out there is they can't hold the event. They don't have enough grounds. They don't have enough help. Whatever 100,000 excuses that they have out there, I'm not sure exactly what it is. But what it's doing is it's limiting the number of total dogs that can be entered. So, and then they put it on a point system where you have to rank your dogs. There's no way to rank a dog in your kennel. Not one dog is more important than the next dog. Not one client's not more important than the next client. So they're making you rank these dogs. And and I've seen the breakdowns and I've seen all the, graphs people have done. And with the number of handlers, number of dogs, they're guessing anywhere from like 7 to 10 dogs is going to be the max per handler.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we have 30 qualified.
Yeah, wow. And you take about that many every year, about 30?
Yeah. We take 25 to 30 every year. And a lot of the other pros around the country do the same thing. There's not many of us that have that many, but there are some. So I got Tanner, would be my other handler. So I would say, okay, if we're going to do that, then I'll just I'll sign Tanner up for 10 or 12 dogs. But it's not working that way. You can't designate the handlers, the dogs, because it's a limited entry total, not per handler. It's total. And in the wisdom of the people now that are doing this, let's just say I put on there Chris Jobman and or Elliott Snider to handle the dogs. You have to pick one person. You can't deviate. So if I put Elliott Snider and you get sick, those dogs can't run.
Why would they do? Why do they feel like that's beneficial?
I don't know. I don't because they think we're going to get around the system some way and get more than 840 dogs in. I don't understand. For some reason there has been a line drawn, and this has become an am versus pro thing. And I hate to say it that way, but it just is.
What
years ago they wanted a master national amateur. Well, they got it. So the amateurs have their game. They've got their game out there. And whether people want to believe it or not, the Master National is a pro-driven event. Mm-hmm. Of the 1,000 dogs or whatever qualified, I'll bet you 85 to 90% of them are ran by pros. And, we support that Master National. It's a game that we play. And now the big argument they had, it's that this game wasn't designed for pros to make money. Well, okay, maybe you're right, but it's that way now. So they need to adjust. So they need to, get up with the game, with the times. And then what they're doing is that, the ground, they say their grounds are limited. They say their tests aren't quality enough. They say there's all kinds of excuses, but basically what it boils down to is they don't want to have to deal with hosting that many dogs.
Yeah.
And they're trying to slip this thing in 2026, like, this is the only year this is going to happen. Well, that's not true. Now there's a precedent started, and so it goes out to the East Coast the following year because there's regions. It's got to go different region every year. Well, now there's a precedent started, and if the club out there on the East Coast says, you know what, I don't want to deal with 1,200 dogs, we're only going to do 900. And then the next year, okay, we don't want to deal with 1,000, we want to do 850. So we don't even know from year to year how many dogs they're going to allow. And I don't know how they're getting around it because if it says in the rules, if you pass 6 master tests from August 1st to July 31st, you qualify and you will run the Master National.
Right.
Now they're like, you may or may not get in. That's seriously how it is. You may or may not get in. You spent thousands of dollars to get your dog trained, get a dog qualified, and you may not even get the damn dog in. It's because they don't have that many dogs. I don't understand the problem here. I really, really don't understand. And what it also is doing to some pros and a lot of pros out there, it's limiting our income. It literally is limiting our income. So if I have 30 dogs qualified, I might get 10 in. And then you're supposed to, so let's just say you get your 10 in. And now let's just say there is 100 more spots that are open. You need to put a designation on your dog. You need to rank them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So if Georgie was in my program, I rank, let's just say I just, draw a number. She's ranked 10th. Well, they only take 9 dogs. She doesn't get in. She's 10th.
And if you have a client, the client is going to know that you rank the dog low.
You have to. There's no, and that's the problem. They're making us decide which clients are more important than other ones, and that's not. They're all important. They're all important.
Think you could just number them at random? I think if I was getting heat from clients, I'd be like, well, I'd number them at random.
Well, I get that. I mean, random numbers are random. That still doesn't disclude the fact that you've spent the money, your dog is qualified, and they're not going to allow you to run it. It says it in there that you're allowed to run. Yeah. And this is the worst decision I've ever seen an organization make in my entire life when it comes to something like this. They're literally cutting our income. And if there's a small pro out there, let's just say you're a small pro, Elliott, and every year you have about 5 or 6 dogs that you qualify for the Master National, and you're happy with that number, and you'll get in with this new program. But let's just say one year you're like, you know what, I'm going to amp it up. I'm going to hire an assistant. We're going to expand our business for, better for my family, better for me, better for everybody involved. And you expand the system. Let's just say you qualify 15 dogs the next year with an assistant, and your business is expanding. Like, oh, by the way, you don't get to run the Master National. You only can get 6 in.
Mm-hmm.
So now they're cutting their legs out from underneath the people who are trying to expand their business and get a better life for them and their family and their kids. And they're like, nope, you're not going to run the Master National. You can't get in. So that part of your business is the Master National part of your business is really going to be affected because people don't, for some reason, we have amateurs, and this is the problem we have. We have amateurs, and not every one of them on the board, but a lot of them. We have, and this is not going to be a popular opinion by any of them. I don't care. This is wrong. What they're doing is wrong. You have amateurs dictating how much money we can make.
Mm-hmm.
And you have amateurs dictating how many dogs a pro can bring to an event. When the amateurs already have their own event, the Master National Amateur. Now they have 2.
Do you think that they should just? I have a couple questions for you.
I know why they're doing this. Let me get before you get to that. Okay. So the reason. So there's a bylaw that says there's no pros are allowed on the Master National Amateur Board. That came up with the Master Amateur. The Master National was first invented. I get it. I understand it then. But times have changed. Things need to change. In order to change a bylaw, you have to have the clubs vote, and they have to. I don't remember the exact number. They got 75% or unanimous or some shit. I don't remember how. I don't know what the vote is to change a bylaw, but it's a lot. So it'll never get changed because most amateurs are voting, and they're not going to vote the pro way. So now you have no pros on the board. So a pro-driven event has 0 pro influence. We have 0 opinion.
Mm-hmm.
See what I'm saying?
Right.
0 opinion.
Who gets to vote? It's just a board. It's a member.
Yes, the board. Yes, the board gets to vote. Yeah,
and are professional trainers allowed to be on that board?
No professional trainers are allowed to be on the Master National Board.
Why?
That's the bylaws. I don't know. That's the bylaws. That's the bylaws. So it's not a good thing, Elliott. This is terrible for the sport. This is terrible for the sport. Another thing is this is and I'll get into what I think would be able to fix this. It's a very easy fix, in my opinion. But then, so now every year the Master National has to move to do a different region. Last year it was in this region, and we ran in. Where did we go last year? I think we went to, where did we go? It's Kentucky or something last year. I don't remember where we went. And then now this year we have to go to Oregon, and then next year it'll be out on the East Coast, South Carolina or wherever they decide to go with it. Well, the easy way to fix this thing is the biggest bitch by these people is our grounds cannot sustain an event this size. Okay. Well, then get rid of the rule that you have to go to every region to run it every single year. Get rid of that rule. That's freaking stupid. Just evolve with the game. So there's numerous places in the country that can hold this event. Paducah, Kentucky, Cheraw, South Carolina, Bush in St. Louis, Giddings, Texas, Thomasville, Georgia. There's multiple places in the country that can hold an event this size. Now I can hear everybody on the East Coast screaming and everybody on the West Coast screaming, I don't want to drive all the way to Giddings, Texas every year. But are you in it for the dogs? Are you in it because you don't want to drive? Why are you in the sport? Why are you dictating what people can do with their dogs? If you say you're in it for the dogs, then be in it for the dogs. Just because you don't want to work that hard, that's not an excuse. And so if we change the bylaws, we can move, like we could literally have a rotation. 1 year is in Cheraw, 1 year is in Paducah, 1 year is in St. Louis, 1 year is in Giddings, 1 year is in Thomasville, then back to rotate. Now you go back to Cheraw. You find the places that can host the event. Mm-hmm. You don't worry about, cutting our legs out for underneath of us because you can't host the event because you want it in your hometown. And I'm proud of them for wanting, putting the Mash National on because it's a huge undertaking. But if you can't handle it, don't kill a sport because you can't handle it. Say, you know what, guys, we can't handle it. Go to a different region and just admit it. And so there's a big problem. You got, amateur versus pro thing. And we're one of the, our kennel is one of the bigger supporters of the Mass National in the country, and I've defended them, and I'm done. I'm done defending them now. And they've made their own bed, and hopefully they come up with a solution. But right now, it looks like this is the way they're going. They're going to limit entries at the Master National. It is a terrible thing.
Would you ever drop out of it if they keep putting the squeeze on things and just do something else? Yeah,
maybe. Yeah, there's some talk about some new stuff coming down the pipe that is going to affect the Master National. It's going to be positive for the retriever world. There's some new stuff. I'm not at liberty to say about it yet, but I am involved. There's some stuff coming down the pipe that is going to affect the Master National if it gets going. Now, you got to understand something. These people don't want these pros there, but when you have a $1,200 event, you get ready for a $300 event. I try to pay the bills with that.
Right.
I mean, seriously, it's
a lot of money.
But you're alienating. You're literally biting the hand that feeds you. Change the bylaws so pros can be on the board, so that we can govern the game that we pretty much. I mean, I hate to say it, but we can govern the game that we're dominating because it's pro-driven event. The Master National the amateurs have their own event. And if they want to run that, they can. Leave ours alone.
Would you be okay with it just completely be segregated into pros and amateurs?
I don't think it needs to be segregated by no means, but I think the pros need to have a voice in the event that they're running. You're letting an amateur dictate your business, like what you do for a living. And it's not, I don't know why they have to mess with it, but they seem to have to mess with it. Maybe start a day or two early. It's not a hard fix. It really isn't a hard fix. You just got to be willing to say, you know what, we need to evolve, and we need to allow pros on the board, and we need to do some different things to benefit the game. Because are you in it for the dogs or not? That's what it boils down to. It really does. And the problem with the Master National too is, Elliott. So when we come to the Master National, I think there's a rule out there. If you have $20, you need to bring a helper or whatever it is. I can't remember what the rule is, but we donate our equipment, we donate our time, we donate our help. So, and there's talk about having there's talk now that the Master National entry fee is going to be $800 for Oregon.
What is it currently?
I have $500 or $600. I don't even know. They're raising it because in Oregon.
Yeah.
I mean, it's insane to me. But like our flights, we got me and Chris Aiken and Rhett and Eric and Rhodey and JC. That's our flight, and we work our butt off. We donate equipment. We help set up the test. We throw the flyers. We shoot the guns. We do all the work for free. They're borrowing wingers and bird dryers and tents and awnings, and we're happy to help. And then they do this to us. And so they need to understand what the effect is on this. Because here's the thing now. Let's just say we continue running the Master National next year. You think anybody's going to lift a finger after they do this stuff to us and expect us to help?
Yeah.
And it's a sad thing. I wish the powers that be could see the forest through the trees, and they can't. All they can, it's a precedent that's being set that's not good. And I was going to get a couple people on here and talk about it, but it would be too fired up. And we're all concerned about it. We're all concerned about where it's going, and there is a very, very good chance it could die after this. So
hopefully that won't happen. Hopefully they'll get it sorted out.
They need to change the bylaws, or it won't get sorted out. And if I offended anybody on here, I'm sorry, but I'm just telling you the truth and telling you what everybody's thinking and saying and feeling, and it's a major topic. And we've been running these master tests, and when this ruling came down, that's all we talked about the entire time through the master tests. Even our judges, who are national judges, are like, what are they doing? Like, they literally are, what are they doing? And it's a terrible disservice to the game. Terrible. Because we want the best master hunters in the entire country to come to the Master National, right? Oh, wait, we don't want more than 840 of them, though. The other 300 that are really, really good don't get to run.
Right. You're against breaking it up by region, I think, right?
I am, but if it comes to breaking it up into two separate Master Nationals and not have to do this, then so be it. That's better than this. That's better than this. This is the worst decision I've ever seen. And I've talked to multiple people. This is not an AKC thing either. The AKC did not tell them, hey, you need to limit your entries. This is a Master National Board decision. This is not coming from the AKC. So if they say it's coming from the AKC, they're lying. This is a Master National Board decision. And a lot of my friends that were on the Master National Board have now resigned because of
this?
Yes, part of it, yes. Now, there are some good ones left on the board, don't get me wrong, but they're much different than it used to be 2-3 years ago. A lot of people have resigned just because nobody can get along. Nobody can seem to get along. Nobody can seem to, do what's best for the game. They think about, our grounds can't hold a $1,200 dog event. Yes, they can. Start 2 days early. Start 2 days. Take a party out and start 2 days before. Like, give us more time to run. It's not hard. It's really not hard. So, but all their free help and stuff is probably gone. And I hate to be that way, but it's, I've supported it for years now, and we take some of the most of the dogs in the country out of this kennel, and it's a shame. It's a shame.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, But I thought
make sure to keep us updated on any new developments.
Yeah, I will. I just thought I'd update everybody that listens, and it's now not everybody may agree with me or whatever, but it's I've devoted my entire life to these dogs and the game and clients, and it's hard to see it when somebody works so hard. Not just me, everybody, all these pros, and even the amateurs that there's most amateurs disagree with this decision. 99% of them do, but there's 2 or 3 or 4 that are in charge of this deal now, and that's where it's going to go. And now they set the precedents, and nobody I've talked to, not one personality I've talked to in the last however long it's been, a week, my phone has been ringing off the hook. Not one person I've talked to said it was a good idea. Not one. So obviously, who'd they listen to? Just themselves? But we'll see. And it's not like I said, it's not an AKC. AKC is one of the tests a little bit harder, a little bit tougher. I get that. I agree with that. But they didn't say limit entries. That never came out of their mouth, because I know those people there.
So do you think it was the test site that was being really vocal, and that's what stirred it up?
Yeah, it's whoever's in charge out there in Roseburg, Oregon, who's ever in charge of all that has stirred up this hornet's nest. They voted this thing. A lot of times you get a vote. Clubs can have a say. Like you go to the Master National, there's proposals, and clubs have a say on if it passes or fails. They just push this through the board without anybody. They try to sneak it through without anybody really knowing about it. We had rumors of it coming down the pipe, and then they actually just voted, and we like, oh, here it is now. We didn't know they were voting. Like, hey, tomorrow night, guys are voting on it. It just showed up. Hey, this is a new rule. Good luck.
And so you've just been fielding calls ever since.
And I have been, yes, fielding calls. And then to all my clients and everybody listen, we're going to be fine. Everybody relax. There's a new game coming, I think, that everybody's going to really enjoy. Like I said, I'm not at liberty to say, just there may be another option out there for everybody that might be a little bit better deal without the BS of and the politics of what we're doing.
All right. Well, you got anything else to say on that topic?
No, I better quit.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and
congratulations to Tracy Stubbs and the HRC for being an outstanding organization that listens to their members.
Let's go ahead and just let that be today's episode. I think that stands alone really, really well.
Yeah.
And then on our next one, we've got a bunch of Q&A questions that we're going to be catching up with, but I'm sure all of you were anxious to hear Chris's opinion on this topic. So there it is. And feel free to take this to the Facebook group and continue the conversation over there and give your thoughts and opinions and other questions you might have about it that we can answer in the future. So I think that's all we've got for today.
Yes, sir. Hey, thanks for everybody for listening. See everybody at the line. Take that aim.
Gotta strike this chord with